All right, so this showed up a while ago, so I suppose we'll talk about that. Buddy, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Exactly. We'll talk about this right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. Between the loud, obnoxious wind and the morons going by in their pickups without exhaust on them, I'm sure it's hard to hear on this video. But that is neither here nor there. It's probably about like 5 o'clock, and in just a few short hours, the entire landscape is about to get ripped apart by violent thunderstorms. So this may not even be here tomorrow, so I figured we might as well video it now. But I got a call from a guy. He had 2 pickers in a shed, this and a new idea, and they wondered if I was interested in buying them. And I said I would definitely be interested in the green one if the price is right. So I told him what I thought both of the pickers were worth, and they said yes to this deal. So a while ago he called and said, we'll just bring it to you, because it was down here a little farther south from here. So instead of just pulling it over to their house, my house is in between the two, so they just brought it straight here. But what we have here is an 83 picker, and according to what little research I've done so far, actually talking to that Oliver guy right now on the old Facebook machine, we have determined that it is a 1966, I believe, which consequently I looked through my literature, and that is the first year of literature that I had, so I wasn't sure exactly what the range was from the 73. They made a 73H, which is a pull type picker, and so this is an 83. The number 5 ran the whole span from, you know, early on, like in the red wheel era, up until like mine is a white wheel picker, basically to the end. So the number 5 was a 1 row, and then 73 and then 83s were 2 rows. This one is supposed to be on 38-inch rows. I haven't got my tape measure out yet, but it certainly looks like it from wide, which is good because that's what my old planters are, so everything should match up when I you know, make a field to play in with the stuff. So I thought we'd just do a little bit of a walk around here and kind of check her out. They said it hasn't been used for maybe 6 or 7 years, and the new idea they used longer than this one, but this one still looks in pretty great shape, I think, for what it is. It obviously was kept in the shed. I have done nothing other than just walk up here, so here in a minute we might try to wrangle us a tractor and see her turn a little bit, because I don't know, you know, maybe some stuff stuck, I don't know, but we will find that out very shortly. So, not having ever really been around a pull type 2-row picker, I'm not aware of any major quirks about it, other than that it's very much the same as the 1-row picker in its construction. A lot of the same elements are there, although they might be wider or whatever, but there's a lot of common parts interchangeability between the number 5 and this, I can see, because it's the same stuff. You know, they just adapted it. Different couplers and sprockets and everything imaginable looks to be, you know, the thing.
Go, you know the thing.
So the most noticeable difference of this versus like the single row number 5, other than, you know, having 2 rows, is that this one appears to be on 20-inch truck tires, which was the, you know, that was kind of a common practice back in that era, like on manure spreaders especially. You'd see a lot of them on the truck tires because, hey, your grain truck wears out a a you know, set of tires, and then you've got a new set of tires for your picker. You know, take them off, put new tires on your truck, and go. I just noticed something odd whilst I was walking around here, and that made me stop talking. But why is there 2 serial number plates on it? I have a serial number plate up there, and I have a serial number plate down here. That says 83, and this says 83, but the serial number on this one has CC after it, and I wonder if that was done because you could get this as a 73-8, or not a 73, a Husker unit, or you could get a Scheller unit, and I bet that's what it was. As a matter of fact, my phone just went ding-a-ling, and here we go, the answer. The Husker and Schellers got their own tags. I was just saying that in my video, and then you texted it back, so that's good. All right, so with that being said, what I'm talking about is the Husker unit. Oh, you see the H is just like on the number 5 picker. When it picks the corn in here, it you know, takes the husk off the corn, dumps it in the elevator, it goes in the wagon, cob and all, you know, like you see, ear corn. If it was a Scheller unit, it would dump it into the Scheller unit, and it would do like a combine, and it would shell it off the cob, and then you would have a round dogger back here, and your grain would go into the wagon. So that is the difference, and I guess that makes sense when you think about it then, because, you know, one area was probably building husking units, one area was building the Scheller units, another area was building the main part of the picker, and then, you know, they brought them all together. So when you were building a picker, you went and got whichever unit the guy ordered, and then there she goes. So I'm just looking this thing over just to get some visuals, because I have, like I said, I've never been around a 2-row version of this. Everything is very similar to the other one, other than it's just a lot bigger, wider elevator. I see that he had the same problem like I did on the number 5, where the cable broke and whatever, so they just tied her back so that the elevator is always running. It's really supposed to have a cable, and it comes all the way up here, and then your little handle here, when you go around corners, you could flip that and shut off the elevator, so when you're turning, it doesn't just throw all your corn onto the ground instead of in the wagon, because, you know, when you turn, your wagon's not going to be right behind your elevator. So there we have that. But there's going to be a learning curve. I'm sure I have a book for this. I just have to dig it out. It's in my filing cabinet, I'm sure, because I have one on about everything they made, and that will tell us what we need to know, if anything. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It should not be anything different than what we already know. So this one, being a 1966, would have been made in Shelbyville, and then later on, when they closed that plant, the Shelbyville ones, where they also made like the hay tools and stuff, they closed it and they moved it to South Bend, and I believe, according to my source here, that was in 71. So 71 and 72, this would have been made in South Bend. That's what I'm trying to say. Moved from Shelbyville. Much like the, you know, the super, just forget this whole part. What I'm trying to say is some of the stuff over the years, I have to reset there. I just said something that didn't make a lot of sense. But what I was trying to say is, like the Super 99, 990s, and then the 440 and Super 44 were actually made in South Bend and not in Charles City. So the South Bend factory, you know, did some other stuff than just plows, is what I'm trying to say. And as plants closed, you know, they picked up some of this other stuff. So if you had something like this, it could have been made in either or place. Now, like I said, just looking it over, I'm taking it all in, noticing some things. I notice we have a piece of angle iron there, so we might look in the book and see what gives, why we have done that thing. Is there a reason, or what original piece is missing that is making that happen? Because you know, who knows what the reason is for that. I also noticed there's been a repair down there, so we've broken off our hitch mount at one point, but that's not too bad. I mean, that's not in the visible side. It looks like they beefed it up a lot, so maybe they kept bending it, and they, you know, if you had a muddy year and you had to pull this through the mud with a full wagon, I could see how you would start twisting stuff. So yeah, and like I said, definitely book reading is going to be in the future here, because I see stuff that I don't understand. Like here we have some type of optional something, and I don't know what that would be. It obviously was chain drive from there to here, and then to this jack shaft, and then it went on back with a belt. And I don't know if that was, I really don't know. I don't know what that was off the top of my head, other than my hat, which is now not on the top of my head because of the wind. But yeah, I'm kind of amazed we made it down here. Well, not me, but I'm amazed they made it down here, because it looks like the bolts weren't exactly tight in the old wheel. So that's something that's going to need attention. More new info has come in. So the number 73 picker actually started in Battle Creek and was moved to Shelbyville. And then like this was started in Shelbyville and then moved on to South Bend. All right, so going along with what I was saying, the number 5 is what it was meant to say, because it was all the way, like I said, from the red wheel era on. So it was built actually in Battle Creek, Shelbyville, and then South Bend before it was done. So pretty nifty. But overall, looking at it, I mean, there's some things that need attention on it. Obviously our little rubber deals here are kind of non-existent there. And then of course, as there's corn in there, this will raise up, because it's what actually, you know, it's kind of applying down pressure so that it gets in those rolls good. And then all that action is what takes the husks off the deal, so that when your corn goes in the wagon, hopefully it is just an ear of corn. All right, so my camera did its fun trick again. So we're on a new battery, and I don't know how much of that was caught, but if we follow our path of corn, it obviously comes in here, and then it'll go up through there. And then what's going to happen is, like I said, your trash is going to come out up here, ears are going to go down, and then whatever gets pulled through those rolls is going to come out here. So, you know, most of your trash is going to get dumped out behind you, but your husks and, you know, parts of cobs and different things that get, you know, nubbins, that type of thing that gets caught and pulled through, is going to fall down, and then it'll go on here where there's chance to save the grain. So the grain will fall through, and then the drag chain will take it where it needs to go. It's going to help push the rest of the trash out, and then kind of rake the grain over, and it's going to go over here, and then it will go into the hopper, which is where the ears will also should go. See, they will come out, it'll come out down in there, fall in here, and go into the wagon. You got your fan mounted up top on this. The number 5, it's mounted inside, but it's going to blow air to help get the trash out, because we want the trash gone. We don't want trash in there. The corn stalks are usually dry enough that air will move them on their way, you know, and so that's why they have the fan, you know, to help clean and get rid of stuff we don't want. And then hopefully by the time you get into your wagon, it's all grain that is either on the cob or shelled off and clean. So that was the idea. And like I said, I'm just kind of taking it all in here, because I haven't seen this picker before today other than in a picture, and I said I'd take it. And then they brought it, and it was pouring down rain when they got here, so I didn't get to look at it then. But just looking at it, you know, basically this setup here, if you just looked at this right here, looks just like the number 5 picker you know, the way it's construction and different things. And then this is basically two side by side, you see. So we got a gearbox there, we got another one on the other side to drive the other side. And yeah, I mean, it's hydraulic lift, which is nice. My number 5 is not hydraulic lift. See, there's another gearbox to drive that set. And it's actually a 3-sided gearbox because it's got to send power over to the other side, down to this one, and then it gets its power from over here, where there's another 3-sided gearbox, consequently. It's really always amazing when you look at these. That's why I like combines and harvesters and balers and whatnot. You look at all these components and realize that somebody had to dream this up. You know, somebody had to figure out how to make it work. You know, somebody said, hey, let's make something that takes corn off of the plant and then, you know, strips the husk off and puts it in the wagon. Well, how do you do that? So obviously this is the product of much revision over time of designs, but the first guy doing it had to come up with, hey, we need it to do this and we need this piece to do that, and then make it all work together, and this is what you get. I notice we're gonna probably need a little bit of bushing work in there. That's no big deal. I mean, this was bought to be used and they used the heck out of it, so it's not going to be perfect, which is consequently also why I didn't offer them, you know, gold price for it, because I knew that they bought it to use and they have had it for years, so I knew that it wasn't going to be perfect. It would probably go to the field as it is, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't, but I'm saying for it to be something that I would want to take out and run all day long, it's definitely going to need some attention. I mean, as any old machine would. And like I said, I really want to get the books out and kind of study up on it and familiarize myself with some of the different stuff and where all the, I mean, you pretty well know where all like the grease fittings are on it and stuff just from using other ones, but still it'd be nice to kind of take that all in a little bit and you know, maybe find out like what our optional thing there was. I don't know if it was some kind of like maybe a trash spreader or something, but then you would think it would be headed over that direction, you know, because the trash would come out over there. So I don't know, but I'm sure someone in the comments will say, hey, we had one and that's what that is for. But I'll look in the book too and then I'll know. But yeah, it like I said, I'm pretty sure that it will be just fine. It's got typical holes down in, you know, it wasn't cleaned out. And then a lot of this is from the wear just over the years of stuff rubbing against it as it falls down in there and starts wearing holes in. So that'll be another little minor project to get ready to go for this fall, provided it ever quits raining long enough that we can plant something, because yeah, we haven't had any really good planting weather other than back in April for a few days. And I think a lot of the stuff that was planted then, yeah, it's coming up, but if it keeps raining like this, there's a lot of it that's going to get washed out and has to be redone, because it won't stand to be underwater for days and days. So that's how that's going to go. But I believe we are to the point now where I've talked enough. I might throw in a section where we look at the literature, but maybe not in this video, I don't know. But I think what I'm going to do is go gather me a tractor, hook it up to the said tractor, hook up the power takeoff, and watch it turn a little bit, just to see, you know, if everything's going. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Let me go find something. All right, Super 88. Consequently, we're gonna have to fix those two front tires because they were both flat again. So yeah, but we're all hooked up. This is the first turn. Let's see what happens. I don't know where to point you where the failure would start, but all right, very nice. There you go. It's even chucking some trash out. Missing our we got a remnant of it there, but our elevator sheet metal on the end looks good there. That shaft looks bent to me. Let's shut her down a minute. I'm wondering, now I don't know how to get back there to check, but oh, I guess because of that rubber, I bet that rubber's homemade and it's not quite square, and that was making it look as such. So I might have to track down a better coupler setup there, but otherwise everything I think was turning just fine. It's not really that big a deal. With the elevator cable broke, at least what I've always done is just shut the power takeoff off, or you can stop a minute and let it clean out the elevator and then make the turn real quick. But yeah, she still had some trash in there, but we got that cleaned out pretty good just by sitting here and idling it. So I'd say when they were done, they just backed it in the shed, and that's how she was. They didn't even run it a minute to clean it out. And so yeah, I mean, we got her everything fired back up just like the day it was shut off, is what I'm getting at. I'm not sure about, I guess they probably raised it up today when they, don't you figure? Or what do we think is happening here exactly? I'm trying to decide whether I should try to hook this up or just not mess with it. Or is it locked up now somehow? That's the kind of thing we need to read the book for. I bet this is the lockup rod. So they raised it up and locked it with this pin or bolt. So yeah, because that's going to pivot your whole, what it's going to do, like the other one, it pivots your frame, like your tongue here is gonna, that's what makes it go up and down. So that to me is what I'm seeing there, not knowing anything about this exact setup. But that little short link is our lockup rod. So yeah, so it is pinned up, so it can't just drift down, is what I'm saying. But everything seems to be just the way it should, and that's good. Let's see it run one more time. I mean, I'm amazed. I figured maybe some of the chains would be stuck. Or it didn't even grunt when I started it. It just went. Definitely needs some lubing. And it just got a tremendous bath on the way here because it was really pouring the rain. Pretty neat. Power takeoff shield's rattling. Sweet. Good horsey. All right, so definitely did not expect to be owning one of those. If you would have asked me, you know, a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know that there was one for sale, but here it is now in its forever home. So, like I said, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely above average, I would say, because it was definitely kept in a shed all the time. And fun fact, this the guy, the old man who owned this, let me get this right, father-in-law, his father-in-law or his brother-in-law was the salesman for the co-op that sold all this stuff. So obviously they had some Oliver stuff too. They had some big Moline stuff too for that reason. But yeah, so I knew it would be probably pretty good, because I'm sure that if it needed parts, he would fix them up and make sure it was what it needed to be. So, but anyway, that's pretty neat. And like I said, it's got some things that need a little loving, but don't we all when you get old? So pretty cool. We need to address that wheel, because I'm wondering if the tire was flat and they took it off with them and then went to put it back on and stuff didn't go, or we'll address that. But I'm kind of amazed they made it here and something bad didn't happen. So we'll investigate on that one. It doesn't feel like the rim is loose, but I don't know. So that's something we can look into. Not that this is going to go very far, you know, it's not going to go down the road, it's going to go out there, because I'm going to try to always plant some wide row corn here at home, so I don't have to drag my toys far away to play with them, you know. But yeah, I think I'm happy with my purchase. I gave what I think is a fair kind of middle of the road price for it. I've seen some sell for more, but I've also seen some that were, you know, in a lot better shape. I've seen some that were worse bring more. It just depends kind of on the day and who's looking. And like I told him, I said they had 2 pickers. The new idea one will bring more money. I guarantee you, for a guy who wants to use a picker, they want a new idea for whatever reason. When people ask me, do you know somebody's got a picker for sale, they want a new idea. So it will probably sell for more. I don't really know why, because these were pretty excellent pickers, I think. But I know the guys that got the new idea ones really like them. So hopefully they can make some money on that one, because I told them what I thought they would probably get out of it if they sold it themselves. I mean, I could have made them a low offer and then resold it myself, but I would rather just get a good deal on the one I wanted and not have to fool with the other one. They can do all that, and that's the way she goes. But I was looking at this a minute ago, and this does have a foldable tongue. I wondered that, because I thought, this is not going to be, you're going to be in your corn rows the way it is. So that's kind of sweet, because the number 5 does not have that. So at least you can kind of get this down to where it's probably about the same width as the number 5 going down the road. But we'll have to check into, you know, what's our pivots? There we go. Okay, so you mean that just rode along, or did they set that there when I was not out here yet? So that's amazing that didn't fall off if it was just on along for the ride. But we need to figure out where that's supposed to mount and probably put it back. The number 5 one is kind of in the tongue, but I don't know if that maybe was, and then this, they welded on it or something and that went away, or whether it was mounted back up in there like where that brace is maybe. I don't know, but we'll find that out in the book and you know, make that the way it's supposed to be. There we got another sprocket for something on it. We got a hammer, a tie rod hammer. Got a wore out sprocket, and who knows what all goodies buried down there in the nasty trash. But yeah, I mean, there's stuff in there. You just gotta dig for it. Chain links, those actually are probably brand new ones. At least that one is. This one might be slightly used. I said I wasn't going to dig, so I'm not. But at any rate, that's pretty nifty. An 83 picker Husker, 83H, I guess you would call it. But yeah, so we got us one of those now, and this fall maybe we can have a 2 picker video, you know, which means I'm going to probably have to leave more corn for picking, because this thing will probably chew through it pretty quick. And leaving the same amount I did all the time, it won't take that long to be done, and then our fun will be over. So I've always been tempted, and this might be the year to try it. I don't know. I'll probably get bit in the Knutson trying to do that, but I've always been tempted to pick an entire field of corn and sell it off the ear on the internet, because you go to the store and you see people paying, you know, $20 for 12 ears for a squirrel. Why, I'd sell it by, you know, a tractor bucket scoop or a pickup bed load or something, and I think they'd be happy and I'd be happy with the price I was getting at that rate. But the problem is, of course, storage. I wish I had a wire crib that I could set up to make that happen, but that's kind of a lot of work too, because you got to find one that's still good. Then you got to take it down, and then you got to bring it over here and pour concrete and set it up, and I just never have got that far. I would love to, but that would be what I'd need to do that, I think, where I could just put it in there right away and then start selling it. You know, that's always been kind of one of my plans, but I've never got there yet. But now that I got 2 pickers like this, I would say I could make a pretty good dent in a, you know, a 10-acre field of corn or whatever, because that's probably about all I'd be brave enough to pick on the ear to make sure I didn't end up losing a ton of money. But yeah, and then I've got 2 mounted pickers. If I could ever get those put on a tractor, I could have a heck of a time out here just picking my corn. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited, but before we can even do anything with this, we first got to get it dry enough where we can plant something. So hopefully that takes place in the next few weeks, and then this summer we'll tinker with this as we have time, get it ready to go, and then this fall you'll get to see it out there just chewing away on the old corn, and I'd say she'll do it. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. That helps out the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Tell me that you liked it, or tell me that you hated it. Tell me I'm a moron. I really don't care, but anything that you say helps us out too. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.